Uh, but I listen to a lot of sports here in Atlanta, and God, wherever I'd live, I'd be listening to sports. I just hate the transactional conversations around football. It's like the kids are just commodities. You know what I mean? And I feel like in our culture, in our HBCU circles, we get to know them and speak and care about their stories in a little different way. And that's not to paint a broad stroke about everyone, but the fact that the kid's fast and all that's great. But the impact that our institutions leave on those kids moving forward, just for me, means so much more in the story surrounding that. Prediction time, Neely. You kind of said it early. But you want to give me a number here?
Yeah, I will go with 42-10. Jackson State 42, Southern 10. What you have here now, there may be a gap tally in the numbers, but you literally have the number one offense in the SWAC going against the number two defense in the SWAC. But in that number two defense, Southern leads the nation in takeaways and sacks and score points by defense. They just don't lead in the points allowed or the yardage allowed like Jackson State does. So Jackson State has the number one the number one defense, excuse me. Southern has the number two offense in the SWAC. So you not only have the number one team from the West, the number one team from the East, you have the number one team statistically taking on the number two team statistically. So what's going to happen is somebody's got to hit their numbers. Southern gives up 21 points a game. We only give up 9, just under 10. Southern scores about 21 plus a game. We score into the 30s. If we hit our numbers and they hit theirs, we win the game. And because for 11 games now, no one has scored 3 times on Jackson State, and the last time we played them, they scored 0. I'm not going into this thinking this is some 42-35 contest. I'm thinking Jackson State is going to do what we do, take care of the ball, minimize turnovers and penalties, score and stop them from scoring and win the game.
You are probably going to be on TV a lot more. The Coach Prime documentary miniseries is coming to Amazon this month, right? It's December.
It is. I've actually seen episode 1, and there's a guy I'm talking to that makes a couple appearances as well.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Let me call my agent. Hold on, Neely. Hold on, baby. Hold on. Oh, wait, I don't have an agent. Okay. Well, that's all right. I'll take that. I'll take that. But what day? Do you know what day it starts?
I don't. I don't know when episode 1 drops, and they're still doing some filming because it goes all the way through this season. And of course, this season hasn't ended, so they were there as recently as Monday and Tuesday doing some filming of this week. But episode 1, which I preview, takes you through the off season to about the Tennessee State game. Really focused on that Miami and FAMU game, and then it kind of rolls through the season like that. More like the past seasons have. It's just going to be less episodes, but more depth to them, and so it's going to be enjoyable, man. Episode 1 was great to see. I was like, man, I forgot about that. Like I forgot that happened. And so although this stuff feels like it's happening now, man, so much has happened in the past 13 weeks of Jackson State football. Counting the bye weeks and that kind of thing. That's been amazing. It's going to be a well-done documentary. And again, it's aired on Amazon Prime. And so that's even more exposure for the university and for these student athletes.
How has Jackson been? Has there been a come up for Jackson in these last 3 seasons? I don't know, Neely, what have you tangibly seen? I know we got the turf and the field, but just the campus overall. Have you seen things that you're like, wow, this exposure is like paying off like right now in the moment?
Yeah, I think it's the intangible, man. You talked about, when you're taking it back because kids, student athletes, college students are treated and traded like a commodity. But we have to realize that there's a business to college athletics. There's a business to college football. And I do think that in a lot of ways, Jackson State University, the city of Jackson, Hinds County, the state of Mississippi, and even HBCUs have missed out on the business impact that could take place having a Deion Sanders in your mix. But when you look at those intangible things, the energy here, the pride here, people walking around with a little more ump to them. Even when Coach Prime has asked for a weekend of no crime and no murders, and it happens. Just to have that kind of gravitas from a leader is phenomenal. But when you look at, again, Tolly, going back to this notion of what if he were to leave, when you look back at the past 3 seasons, why there was no State of Mississippi tourism or City of Jackson Visitors Bureau, there's a prime time to be in Jackson campaign. Why the hamburger place doesn't have a 21-ounce burger. Why the daiquiri shop doesn't have a blue and white 21-ounce daiquiri on their menu. I think things like that were just missed opportunities here. And should he remain, that's something that could be capitalized off. But when you ask me where are those visible changes, when you get a guy like Deion Sanders in your mix, a unicorn, you get a unicorn, there's only one of them. You got to make it work and you got to maximize it.
Yeah, when you get a unicorn, spread some rainbows, man. They just kind of go hand in hand. I remember driving to Jackson to the championship game last year, and I think I told you, I was like, Jackson, Neely, I knew when I was getting close to the University of Alabama because the road signs were telling me, stadium here, there's there, Nick Saban there. And I kind of got through that, and I just kind of knew I was in Jackson when the GPS said, here you are.
Yeah. Missed opportunities, man. There's no reason when you come in from 55 or I-20 that you don't see Deion Sanders' face on the billboard. Again, prime time to be in Jackson, just a simple slogan as that. So I do think there were some marketing opportunities missed out on. I do think from an exposure standpoint, when he's on Good Morning America coming live from Jackson, Mississippi, that's great. But how do you harness things after that? And Tolly, I'll even speak to, because you talk about the business of athletics and job offers and attractive numbers out there. I think there's a missed opportunity happening even right now for, again, not just from Jackson State University, but the city of Jackson and the business community. We may not have from a state standpoint at HBCU the budgets that the Power Five have, but we do have the ability to pool resources. And what I have not seen, here's a guy who said over and over and over and over that this is about what these opportunities means, not just to me, but more importantly to my assistant coaches and what it can have for their lives. Where's the business community in Jackson organizing a fund, that such as happens at other schools like, say, Alabama? Nick Saban's state salary ain't that much higher than Coach Prime's state salary. That the rest of that $11 million comes from the surrounding area. And I know the hotels have done well here. I know the restaurants have done well here. I know that there has been an uptick in attendance, gas stations, barbershops, detail shops. Where's the organization's thrust to say, hey, man, you know what? Hey, Jackson State, we're going to all get together, and we got 500 people going to put in 10,000 each from the business community and just get this thing done. Because you have all these rumors out there, Tolly, that Colorado offered this, or once upon a time, Georgia Tech or Auburn offered that. I've yet to see what Jackson State is offering.
All right, Neely, I want you to do this. I want you to lean to your right, because I want your face closer to the center of the screen when I'm about to ask you now. I want you to get right there. There you go. Are you disappointed in Jackson State's efforts to keep, entice, make things work for Coach Prime in the midst of this courtship that's open to all suitors?
When you and I talk, Tolly, I always try to talk from an informed standpoint. And just because I may not have the information does not mean something has not taken place. So I want to be clear about that. But based on the information that I have not seen that kind of effort that would not disappoint me. And let me give you an example, just even going back to last year. Here's a head coach and staff that went undefeated in conference and won a SWAC championship. I don't recall seeing an offer of an extension. I don't recall seeing bonuses for the undefeated conference schedule and going to a bowl game because you won the SWAC championship. Not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying old Neely didn't see it. Now let's come to this year. We go undefeated in conference. We win the non-conference games. We're now hosting the SWAC championship again. When I put on the internet, I see what Colorado has allegedly said. I see what these other schools have allegedly rumor mill offering. What I fail to see is where's the rumor mill on what Jackson State is offering. And I do think that's a challenge. Now, that's not to say it ain't taking place. That's to say it hadn't reached a level of like, hey, man, well, Jackson State said this if you'll stay, or Jackson State did that. And so to now answer your question, you can't help but to be disappointed in that. If you're a football fan, you remember when Coach Prime left Atlanta and went to 49ers. I don't remember the Falcons making a big damn effort to keep him. It was like just a foregone conclusion. Well, we can't afford him. He's too talented for us. He's going to go. And I do think that whether, again, I'm putting it on local leadership, business leadership, not just Jackson State administration, I don't think there's been an organized, concerted effort to say, hey, man, you may be looking over there, but let me show you this. And it may pale in comparison dollar-wise to that, but here's the bigger picture and what we would like to do. I've seen coaches in this state, whether it's Mississippi State or Ole Miss, go 7-4 last year. And just to keep them from leaving, they got an extension and a bonus. This guy has gone undefeated 2 seasons in a row. I haven't heard anything about an extension offer or bonuses.
That's deep right there, Neely.
Yeah, and again, I want to be clear to the fans out there, the listeners. Maybe this happened and I just don't know about it. But I wasn't in meetings with Colorado and I heard about that. I wasn't in meetings with Georgia Tech and I heard about those rumors. But I haven't heard any rumors about where I actually live. So what are we doing to have an olive branch, if you will, say, hey, man, we ain't them. And you came here knowing we ain't them. But we can do a little bit more than what we're doing because we know you love being here. And he has said over and over how much he loves being here.
He has, on the record, has said there's unfinished business.
Yeah.
More left to be done. Neely, when I get in trouble with my wife, which is frequent, that public love, that public display of appreciation, you can say anything behind closed doors. But when I let the world know what she means to me, that goes a little farther.
What we call that, west of West Street here in Jackson, Mississippi, we call that game. You got to have game. Game don't mean you lying. Game don't mean you running a con. Game just means you appreciate what someone needs to stay where they are. And this guy has said over and over and over again, the emphasis placed on his assistant coaches, the emphasis on some of the internal issues that take place with bureaucracy. Because, you've heard him say countless times, Solly, that, all fights ain't on the outside, some of them on the inside. And I just don't see a concerted effort, at least to the degree that is public knowledge, that obstacles were removed on the inside and that things were put in place to take care of those assistants. So you gave the wife example. How many times does she have to keep saying to you, I want to go out on dates more, I want to go out on dates more, we don't spend enough time together, before you say, maybe stop buying roses and actually spend some time with her, because that's what she keeps asking for. This guy keeps asking for, hey, I want to take care of my assistants. Hey, get tired of this bureaucracy and have to do this, that, and the other. Tyler, here we are. I want to double down on it. The second undefeated season in conference, putting yourself in a position to once again have an economic impact because you earned the right to host the championship game. I haven't seen an extension. I haven't seen bonuses. I haven't seen that conversation in the public space, but I have seen it for other people. And I would dare say to you that part of the reason you see it from these other people, much like the analogy you gave about showing your woman love in public, these other people ain't seeing the love in public.
Neely, sometimes what's unsaid says a lot. True. True. Yeah, people can be passive. And again, look, 8,000 times more than I do. I don't know anything, but I trust your judgment and I trust your level of insight and knowledge. Listen, man, from my opinion, we should be in the streets. Have a damn parade, do whatever you got to do. And people are like, oh, well, he ain't going to do that. He's just, listen, people have different value with what they bring to the table. You protect the bag. And I don't want to just equate people, oh, you're just money. No. But if your value is such that it takes care, one day somebody is going to write, study, and tabulate the economic impact that this man had in the HBCU space. And I can tell you right now, it is going to, if it's done factually and thoroughly, it's going to destroy your brain cells, because I can see it
It's already been done from a tourism standpoint just for Jackson State football attendance. And they put the number somewhere around 30 million just for the football season here in the city limits of Jackson. So what I opined on the pregame show and put it out there was you go out to eat and you have questionable service and you leave a 10% tip. Why the business community? And again, that's why I'm not just putting it on Jackson State. This guy is in Jackson, Mississippi, Metro Jackson, Mississippi, the state of Mississippi. Why have these entities said, hey, man, we got $30 million in tax revenue that we hadn't gotten before? What would happen if we put 10%, $3 million, back over there to the guy that helped us make it? At this point, Charlie, had you done that last year and this year, you'd be at $6 million. So the money is there. I don't know if there is a lack of intellectual acumen to match effort or a lack of desire. I just know what I'm hearing from these other schools and other opportunities, I'm not hearing here as well. And you said it best, man. Maybe it's quiet because we're saying something.
I mean, if I had a woman, which I do, but, if I was in the single space and there was a woman I was interested in, there was a line of dudes over there talking to her, and I was just sitting back on my phone like nothing was happening, I'd be saying something about my level of interest in her long term.
Yeah, let me put my log on that fire about that woman. Not only would I be saying something, the other dudes in line gonna hear me saying it.
You got that right.
Yeah, it ain't just her friends gonna hear me saying it. Anybody in that sphere is gonna know, oh, Neely want her. Like, it's not gonna be up to interpretation, or I would go with that Neely guy, but I don't know if he's interested. Oh no, you gonna know I'm interested. And all I'm seeing, other than from fan chatter, I'm not seeing institutional, organized, public efforts of this is what we're going to do for this guy to stay. Now, should he turn that down, so be it. But you put your chips on the table. I think this is one of those things where I totally understand. I'm like you, Tyler, wishing the absolute best for his family should he decide to do that. He tells me all the time, has told the world all the time, that God sent me here. And if that's the case, then I know God can also move him somewhere else. And I'm respectful of that. But if that guy were about to leave me, he may leave, but he leaving with some claw marks on him. Like he gonna have to fight to get him. Oh yeah, yeah. That shirt gonna have a tear in it because I'm grabbing on something.
All right, seriously. One way or another, he's going to have to make his intentions known here. We got recruiting coming. It was about this time last year, Travis Hunter decided to come to Jackson State. You can't leave the world in limbo, and I have no idea what he's going to do. Again, I wish him the best, but whatever it is, he's going to have to publicly kind of make that known here in the next week or two, right? I would think.
Yeah, I would think. And let me say this. This is not a Coach Prime or Deion Sanders thing. This is just a college football thing, a space that you and I live in. It's December now. There is a signing day period that's a couple of days away. Now, I don't know how often in this space that a coach makes the announcement to where he's going. Normally, that's done by the entity. But things are different when you're dealing with a Deion Sanders. So who knows? Because he is his own marketing and media machine. And he's a genius at it. But I would imagine, Tyler, that somewhere between this SWAC championship and the Celebration Bowl, whether he's staying, going, or wherever he's going to, and then shortly thereafter announcing whoever's coming in, should all those dominoes start to fall. This is a December thing, not a January or February thing. Because as you mentioned, it's recruiting season, National Signing Day, the early period is coming up, and people have to get staffs in place and that kind of thing. So for the people out there with angst and worry, I would say to you ain't got to worry much longer because something's got to happen. That's just the industry.
Right. You will know. Well, Neely, the next time I see you or talk to you, I'll either be crying or laughing. One of the two.
I'm going to be doing both. I'm going to be crying because of laughing. Sometimes I laugh so hard at us that it makes me cry because, man, there's just a better way to run a railroad. And, this whatever is going to happen, it's going to happen. And I will say this. Should Deion Sanders stay the head coach at Jackson State and the HBCU space are going to be better off for it. Should Deion Sanders decide to move on to the next phase of his life and what he wants to contribute to society and is away from Jackson, Mississippi, Jackson State and HBCUs are in a better place because of him. So at the end of the day, man, I have been bettered by this guy, not only personally in my dealings with him, But the growth and impact he's had on the pregame show and this exposure to things I've learned, you can't put a value on it. And I know he's had that same impact on other people and just this community at large. So should it come to that, we won. Should he stay, we're going to keep winning. But this is one of those things, man, that the nature of the beast of the industry, coaches don't stay places forever. So if it ain't now, we still need to get everything in order because it's still going to happen. Absolutely.
Absolutely. No getting around that. Well, Neely, enjoy the game this weekend. HBCU Game Day will be there, and it should be an exciting next couple of weeks for Jackson State HBCU football. Southern on tap this weekend. They'll be going for the big upset. We'll see how things turn out. As always, brother, appreciate you, man. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and hope the Christmas season's off to a great start for you, Neely.
Hey, man, same to you. Trust that you had a good Thanksgiving. We're in that holiday season of giving, so let me give you some advice. You go give her some flowers, some time and attention, man, because you keep using that wife example much. It might be something in your spirit coming out. So do better, Tolly. Do better.
Baby, I'm coming home. I'm leaving Neely right now. I'm coming home. I'm gone. Bye, Neely.